What if I told you your anxiety isn't random, and it isn't just something that happens to you? What if I told you your brain is actually learning anxiety from your thoughts every single day? Not because you want it to, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your brain learns through repetition. Every time you replay worst-case scenarios, every time you mentally prepare for disaster, every time you scan for what might go wrong, your brain takes notes. And over time, it starts building a rule about the world. This world is dangerous. Stay alert. So today, I want to walk you through 9 ways your thoughts are training your brain to feel anxious, and more importantly, how that training can be changed. Because anxiety isn't just a feeling, it's a habit your nervous system has learned, and habits can be retrained. 1. How the brain learns through repetition. Your brain's main job is not happiness. It's prediction. It's constantly asking, what usually happens next, so it can prepare you in advance. And it doesn't learn from logic. It learns from what happens most often in your mind. So, if your thoughts frequently go to, what if something goes wrong? What if I embarrass myself? What if this turns into a disaster? Your brain doesn't hear just thoughts. It hears, important pattern, save this. And the more often you repeat these thoughts, the faster your brain pulls them up next time. That's not because you're negative. It's because your brain is efficient. It strengthens whatever you practice. So if you practice fear, your brain gets very good at fear. 2. Why overthinking makes anxiety stronger over time. This is something most people don't realize. Overthinking is not neutral. Every time you mentally replay a problem, you strengthen that emotional pathway, just like learning a skill. Neurons that fire together wire together. So when your brain keeps practicing patterns of fear, it starts automating them. You may find yourself constantly anticipating rejection, preparing for mistakes, or imagining what could go wrong. Which is why people often say, I used to overthink sometimes. Now it feels constant. Your brain didn't become broken, it became trained. And now anxiety shows up faster and with less effort, not because life is more dangerous, but because your brain learned to expect danger everywhere. 3. Why your mind scans for threats, even when you're safe. Your brain evolved to survive, not to relax. It is designed to look for what could go wrong, not what is going right. So when things finally feel calm, your brain doesn't say, great, we can rest. It says, stay alert. Calm usually means danger is coming. That's why many anxious people feel most uneasy during quiet moments. At night. On days off. When nothing is demanding their attention. Because your brain mistakes silence for vulnerability. So it fills the space with worries, memories, and future problems, not to hurt you, but to keep you ready. 4. Why reassurance doesn't work for very long. When you're anxious, you probably look for reassurance. You Google symptoms. You ask friends. You replay situations for certainty. And for a moment, it helps. But then the doubt comes back, stronger than before. Because reassurance teaches your brain one dangerous lesson. That feeling was serious. We needed checking. So next time anxiety appears, your brain demands reassurance again. And the cycle tightens. Relief becomes temporary. Fear becomes more convincing. Not because you're weak, but because your brain learned that anxiety deserves urgent attention. 5. Why your brain confuses uncertainty with danger. Your brain hates uncertainty. Not knowing feels unsafe, even when nothing bad is happening. So your mind tries to close every open loop. What did they mean by that message? What if I made the wrong choice? What if this goes badly? But the brain doesn't calm down when it finds answers. It just finds new questions. Because uncertainty isn't the problem. Your brain's intolerance of uncertainty is. And when your mind can't control outcomes, it tries to control thoughts instead, which keeps anxiety alive even in stable situations. 6. How avoidance trains your brain to panic faster. When something feels scary, avoiding it feels like relief. You cancel plans. You delay decisions. You stay in your comfort zone. And your brain thinks, good, we escaped danger. But what it actually learns is, that situation was dangerous. Avoid it next time too. So the fear grows, the comfort zone shrinks, and anxiety spreads into more areas of your life. Avoidance doesn't remove fear. It teaches your brain that fear was correct. 7. Why your body starts reacting before you think. At some point, anxiety stops starting in your thoughts. It starts in your body. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, your heart speeds up, and then your brain goes looking for a reason. This is because your nervous system has learned certain triggers, social situations, deadlines, conflict. So your body reacts first, and your thoughts follow to explain the feeling, which makes it feel like anxiety is uncontrollable, even though it was learned over time. 8. Why trying to stop thinking makes it worse. When thoughts feel scary, people try to shut them down, push them away, distract themselves, argue with their mind. But your brain interprets that as, this thought is dangerous, pay more attention. So it comes back louder. Because the brain flags anything you fight as important. Calming anxiety is not about controlling thoughts. It's about changing how your nervous system responds to them. 9. How your brain can unlearn panic. Here's the part that matters most. If anxiety is learned, it can also be unlearned. Not through force, not through fighting your mind, but through showing your brain, slowly and repeatedly, that you can handle discomfort without escaping it. That thoughts can exist without danger following. That feelings rise and fall on their own. Each time you stay present instead of avoiding, your brain updates its predictions. And little by little, the alarm system turns down. Not because life became perfect, but because your brain learned that you are capable. Final realization. What you're overthinking is really trying to do. Overthinking is not your enemy. It's a nervous system that learned to survive by staying alert. It's a guard that never got the message that the war is over. So instead of asking, why can't I stop panicking? A better question is, what did my brain learn that made it think this was necessary? Because when you stop treating your mind like the problem and start seeing it as something that learned from experience, you don't feel broken anymore. You feel human, and that's where healing actually begins.